Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Tacoma Cyclist. I am the Tacoma Cyclist and with me as always is my sidekick, the Boogeyman. Today we're actually going to be looking at these. We're going to be doing a chamois cream shootout, and we're going to be testing 3 of the most common chamois creams on the market, as well as one of the over-the-counter products that you can buy at any of your local Targets or Walmarts that people like to use as well as a chamois cream. We're going to be looking at Chamois Butt'r, Deez nuts, blue steel, and butt paste. And honestly, I got to tell you, I'm really excited that I get to use the words Deez nuts and butt paste in the same sentence. We're going to outline a few of the different points about each one of these products. We're going to tell you how we tested these overall, and we're going to make a recommendation at the end. First, how we tested this. We've both tested these creams in a variety of scenarios. We've both tested them on a 1-hour trainer ride. We've tested them on a 1-hour outdoor ride. We've both tested them in a race, and we've both tested every single one of these products in the wet. Thankfully, within the past couple months here in the Seattle-Tacoma area, it's been raining a lot. So we've had plenty of opportunity to get these out and test them on the wet roads and see how they hold up over time. What we were looking for was overall comfort at the end of our ride. How did everything feel? And how much was left over at the end of an hour ride or an hour on the trainer, after an hour out in a race, after an hour out in the rain. When we got back, how much product was actually there and how much was it actually doing at that point? And we also tested this on a variety of chamois. Yeah, we tested them on a lot of those too. I've got a really crappy pair of chamois that came with some Bontrager shorts of mine that are a little more than a piece of cloth stitched in. And then we've got some higher end, nicer chamois in our team kits and in some Segoy bibs that I've got. So we also tested for a variety of features in the different chamois creams as well. We tested for the viscosity of the product. In some cases, some were thicker, some were thinner. We tested for the smell. While we generally hope that people aren't going around sniffing where the chamois cream is applied, at the end of the day, let's face it, if it smells gross, you might not be too happy about putting it on. We also tested, of course, for longevity, to see how long the product's going to last while it's in place, overall effectiveness, and we're also testing for things like price per ounce. Does it have a single-use pack available other than just a tube? And then any oddities that might stick out about any one of these products. In all of our test cases, this is approximately the amount of chamois cream that we applied. Now this is actually just lotion. Some of these chamois creams are pretty expensive, so overall, yeah, we didn't want to go wasting a whole lot of that for me to demonstrate this, but this is about the amount that we applied. We try to focus on keeping pretty close to the same amount every time so that we could be consistent throughout the test. And then, of course, that means that it's a liberal application, which actually most of the instructions on these products say to apply liberally. So this is a good starting point for us. So for our first product, we're going to take a look at this, Chamois Butt'r. Coming in as a relatively expensive product, the nice thing about this chamois cream is that there's actually 8 ounces in there. So while it seems expensive on the surface, it's only $2.25 per ounce. So we paid $18 for this tube. There's 8 ounces in there, 2 1/4 an ounce, not that bad. It actually winds up being the cheapest chamois cream or specific chamois cream in this test. From a viscosity perspective, this one's definitely not the thinnest. It's definitely not the thickest, but it's pretty thick overall. Isn't that right? That was one of the very first things we noticed about this, is when you went to apply this, it's a little on the thick side. So you may have to apply more than some of the thinner ones in the test bunch here. Smell, I didn't notice the smell. Did you notice the smell at all? This is completely odor-free. This is a nice product that doesn't leave you with smelly fingers after you get done, even if you've wiped it off. This is an absolutely odor-free product. Longevity. It's probably one of the weaknesses of Chamois Butt'r is that after an hour ride, both of us had kind of noticed that the cream had more or less disappeared. It wasn't really there at the end of an hour, or maybe a little bit longer, maybe as much as 2 hours. At the end of both of our races, both of which were between an hour and 2 hours, we noticed that when we went to change, it had been pretty much absorbed by the skin. That being said, though, it was relatively effective overall. Best recommendation I could make for this is if you're going to use Chamois Butt'r, get some of the single-use packages too. If you're going to be riding anything longer than maybe a couple hours in the saddle, take a couple single-use packages with you and reapply every 2 to 3 hours on the road. Next up is probably our favorite chamois cream in the bunch, and that is Blue Steel. Now, it's our favorite for a couple reasons. First of all, it's a local product. The people that make this are based out of Washington, and we like that. Second of all, it's probably, in our opinion, the most effective out of all of them. As far as viscosity goes, it's a little thinner, and it spreads pretty easily. But from a longevity perspective, it lasts. I've put this on, I've used this product actually for quite some time, and I've actually spent some 6-7 hour days in the saddle, and at the end I didn't find myself needing to reapply, and in fact it was still there. It was still quite effective. It had to be kind of removed. From a smell perspective, it has tea tree oil in it, and it smells like tea tree oil. I kind of joke around a little bit with my wife. She uses some tea tree oil ointment, and she'll come downstairs at night and I'll say, you kind of smell like my chamois. So I don't know that she likes that too much, but nonetheless, it definitely has a very strong tea tree odor smell. If you like the smell of tea tree oil, great. If you don't like the smell of tea tree oil, you might want to pass on this one because it's definitely pronounced. So as far as effectiveness is concerned, in my opinion, and I think in the Boogeyman's opinion, this is probably the most effective one we've found. Price per ounce, it's actually not too bad. It's $4.25 per ounce. But the nice thing about it is, while it seems to be a little bit more expensive than the Chamois Butt'r on the surface, it's going to last longer, so you don't have to reapply as often. It probably is going to balance itself out overall. Maybe it'll fall in favor of Chamois Butt'r overall if you're not doing a lot of long rides, but if you're doing longer rides, this is probably going to pay for itself over time. Next up is this, Deez Nuts Pro. Yeah, I love that name, Deez Nuts Pro. Now, if only I like the product as much as I like the name. As far as viscosity is concerned, it's probably somewhere between the Chamois Butt'r and the Blue Steel. As far as smell, it kind of ranks up there as one of the better smelling ones. It's got a menthol, kind of minty type smell to it. Longevity, it's okay. It's not great, but it's not terrible. I'd put it maybe just a little bit better than the Chamois Butt'r as far as longevity, but only a little bit better. Nowhere near as long lasting as the Blue Steel ointment. And as far as effectiveness, well, it's kind of got a little bit of an oddity that, to me, impacts its effectiveness overall. And that is, there's definitely some sort of embrocation in here, or some sort of, obviously, menthol. When you apply this, it's an interesting sensation, isn't it there, Boogeyman? Yeah, it feels like these nuts are on fire. So the very first thing you notice when you put it on, after about maybe 10 seconds, these nuts warm up an awful lot, and it takes a minute for it to calm down. First thing I did as soon as I put it on was rush back to the package with this sheer terror of, oh my God, I bought an embrocation, not a chamois cream. And sure enough, it's a chamois cream. So I'm not sure what they were thinking at Deez Nuts factory. Maybe they've gone nuts, but it is in fact a very interesting product. I'll continue to use it just because, frankly, I spent $22 on this tube of nut warmer. But honestly, after it's done, I'm not going to be buying it ever again. You can get it in single application packets if you feel like torturing yourself mid-ride. But honestly, yeah, just frankly shy away from this one unless you just really like that sensation. And hey, if you do, that's cool. That's up to you. From a cost per ounce perspective, this one actually ranks up there as the highest cost one at $5.50 an ounce. And in our very humble opinion and very burned opinion, definitely not worth it. And our last contestant in the shootout is this, Boudreaux's butt paste. Now, this is not a traditional chamois cream. In fact, it's not a chamois cream at all. It's a butt protector, a skin protector for babies. And this is just one of the things I've seen out on the internet that folks have said, use this instead of chamois cream. It's loads cheaper and it works just as well. I've seen this, I've seen A&D ointment, which I have used as well. We thought about putting it in the shootout, but frankly, I didn't find that it worked much differently than this did, so I just kind of lumped it in with the same. I've seen people talk about using Noxema lotion, and in fact I've tried lotion, didn't really find it to work at all. Unless you're doing a 15-20 minute ride, then it seemed to work, but usually you don't need chamois cream for a 15-20 minute ride. So the interesting thing about this is, number one, again, you're going to find it in Target, Walmart, maybe grocery stores even. It's cheap. That's the great thing about it. It's really, really cheap. And it does work. You can use it as a chamois cream. This particular one has a kind of a cocoa smell to it, so hey, if you're down with having rich chocolatey smell down in your chamois, more power to you. It's going to smell awesome. As far as viscosity is concerned, this is definitely the thickest stuff that's in the bunch. This is paste. There's no mistake about it. It's paste. It goes on thick, it stays on thick, and when you get done riding, it's still there and it's still thick. There's not a lot of chemicals in this, which is kind of nice. It's really mostly just various types of oils. So again, very thick paste, not too bad of a smell, works for quite some time, and actually, frankly, is very effective. Probably the biggest downside about this is, well, two things. First of all, you know you're applying something to your butt that is, meant for a baby's rear end. That's cool. If you're all right with that, that works. The really big downside to this is it says right on the package, and it's true, is that it can stain fabrics. So if you're wearing a chamois that is, well, has any color to it whatsoever, it's going to look like a small crime scene took place. And that's, if you're the one doing your laundry, go for it, whatever. I didn't find that it actually permanently stained any of my chamois, but it definitely did not make the chamois look particularly appealing when you went to toss it in the laundry. So if you're looking to save a little bit of money, this is not a bad choice. If you're out on a long ride, or maybe you're doing a long tour, and you've run out of chamois cream or forgot to pack it, this is going to do a decent job. Just bear in mind, of course, it's going to leave a pretty nasty mess into the chamois itself. But hey, for $1.25 an ounce, you really can't complain. So have a rag handy. It's thick. It'll stay on your fingers. You're going to want to wash your hands off when you get done putting this on, but actually works pretty well. At the end of the day, the Boogeyman and I really firmly believe that there are two pretty good standout choices on this list, and they are these: Chamois Butt'r and Blue Steel. Both of these are great products. One of them, Chamois Butt'r, is significantly less expensive, but you may have to apply more often. Blue Steel, a little bit more expensive, but you can probably apply less frequently. If you're doing a lot of 30-minute crits, 1-hour crits, 2-hour road races, the Chamois Butt'r is actually going to work pretty well for you, and you're not going to spend that much money to get it and use it for a very long time. If you're doing longer rides, the Blue Steel's a no-brainer. It lasts for a very long time. You can simply apply it, and you can ride, and you can just keep riding for hours upon hours upon hours, and you're just fine. Both of these products do have single-use packages, though, so if you ever decide to purchase one of them, purchase the tube and maybe get a couple of the single-use packets as well. Toss in the jersey pocket and go for it. One of the things that I found is that the Chamois Butt'r single-use packets are available just about anywhere. The Blue Steel packages, I keep finding them every time I go on race events where Blue Steel is a sponsor, or on community rides where Blue Steel is a sponsor, and they have the single-use packages for sale available at those points, usually about $1 a package. They're a little bit hard to find online, though. When I talked to the lady that owns the company and runs the company, I asked her about that. I said, I can't find these anywhere. How do I purchase the single-use packages? And she actually directed me to her eBay page. So apparently Blue Steel Sports has an eBay page, and you can just purchase the single-use packages online. I know it sounds kind of weird, maybe even a little sketchy to buy chamois cream from an eBay page, but that's exactly what she recommended. So she did mention that they should be popping up on Amazon soon enough too, and from her online store, but at the moment I don't believe that they are actually there yet. So check out her eBay page. Thanks again for visiting the Tacoma Cyclist and checking out our chamois cream shootout, a subject that I'm sure is near and dear to all of our hearts. Feel free to share this video, and of course, make sure you subscribe below. Thanks.